Hey YouTube, this is Dean making another vid. If you like my content, please consider hitting the like button. Also, please consider subscribing, as it is very much appreciated. A discussion piece and just a bit of a show and tell on my file strikers. I now have quite a good showing of both forged and unforged file strikers or non-forged strikers. So in front of you here, I've got my file strikers and that are non-forged, and that I recently just did a couple, my antler build ones. These are just straight files snapped off, and these two here are forged from files and rehardened. So I just wanted to show you the difference between the two styles and what I see is how I'm doing this, snapping a file off and just using it as a striker is a fine way of getting into the hobby of flint and steel. I don't see it as a hobby. This is a passion of mine now. This is probably the cheapest way if you can get onto good quality old files. This one's a Nicholson. I'm not exactly sure what type of Nicholson it is, but I found Nicholsons are probably the best ones if you can get onto them. I'm pretty sure that one was a Nicholson as well. I know that one was, because that one came off there, and this was a Nicholson. It was a Brazil. These two are Nicholsons, Brazil Nicholsons, that was snapped off, and I put antler on them. I've recently done videos on those two. This is Wilkinshire file. You can still see the file marks on it. My good mate and Jack made that, and he forged it for me. So yeah. And I just wanted to show you the difference in sparking. Snapped off files do produce good sparks, but I think once you forge them and reharden them, they do produce a better spark. So let's go through and show you each one. If you're going to do snapped off files, I honestly believe adding a bit of antler to them is the best way of dressing them up. I actually completed these yesterday. I added some glue to them and put a little bit of antler, just a little bit more antler in the bottom of them. They're all glued in there now. It's not just a friction fit. They're never coming out of there now. Yeah, I think it cleaned it up a bit. I could probably have filled it up and cleaned it up a bit more. You can apparently grind up the antler and put it in the glue, and I could have probably filled it all up properly. Again, I'm only just learning how to work with antler, so this was my first attempt. This one turned out a lot better. It's almost as if you can nearly not tell that they were filled up. The glue did come out a little bit here. I had a lot of run over here, but I've tried to clean it up as best as possible. Files like that just look like they're perfectly fine. They work really well, but I think adding on a bit of antler or a bit of wood, yeah, if you get a nice piece of figured wood, that's a really good way of dressing them up. Let's get some embers with them. I'll just show you the sparking of difference. This is just a snap-off file. Hopefully in this lower light, it's not that, it's a bit overcast today. Should be sparking really well. Might not be the best There, good edge. Okay. This is my forged one. Yeah, they spark really well. That's a Snapdraw file. That's from Jack, a forged one again. I can tell the difference. It is not much, but I really do believe once you forge them, they do spark a little bit better. And mainly with the forging, you can start adding on curls and handles and all that sort of thing and getting them shaped. That's the big thing. But I do believe rehardening them is a lot, is the key, because these are hardened as files, so fair enough, they're going to be Rockwell probably 62, 63 Rockwell. You water quench these, they might be up to 65 Rockwell or higher. W2, these files are often made out of W2. They could be quenched up to 65 Rockwell in a water quenching. So yeah, they're brittle, hard and brittle. So yeah, they'll definitely be very, very hard. But yeah, I always advocate hardening them if you can. If you've got the ability to do it and forging them, I would certainly advocate going through the process of hardening them, just because I think you get a better result from them. This is a non-forged one. Yeah, I've got an edema there. It's not a really good edge. I'm going to have to be a lot more frugal with my char cloth. I tend to be burning through a fair bit of it lately. Being very wasteful with my char cloth lately. There we go. Oh, down on there. Falling on there, burn my grass. As you can see, those two spark really well. I'm really impressed with those two builds. Personally now, I wouldn't have just a Snapdraw file. I'm not going to do any more of the Snapdraw file ones. I think definitely put an antler on them if you can. This one sparks really well because of its length. That length gives you a really good full length of throw, so it generates a lot of sparks. It's a really good one. I was going to put a piece of antler on it, but yeah, this is one I'm going to keep as just as a file. I might put a piece of antler on that one. My mini one I'm going to keep as a mini, not going to worry about it. But this is just a discussion piece on files, and I just wanted to show you the differences, the ones I've got now, because I've got a good showing of the spread here. And this one, this is a good little striker actually. That's a chalky bit there, yeah. I'm picking another piece. It's not as if I'm jonesing for pieces of quartzite. Oh, I've got another ember there. Yeah, so these file builds are really good. I've really enjoyed making them. I was talking to my wife last night, and I'm going to try and do a couple up and see if I can sell them. Just the non-forged file ones. So hopefully I might be able to go on my Facebook group and Aussie Flint and Steel and see if I can sell a couple of them, because I think I might be able to. This is my forged striker, probably one of the best strikers, sparking strikers I've got. It's really easy to get an ember with. A bit blowy here today. And all my charcoal, I think it's blown all over the joint. And the Wilkins shear. It's a nice little striker. Again, it sparks really well too. Jack did a really good job of it. But I'll put that rest of that charcoal away. But I just wanted to show those off. My two antler build non-forged file strikers. 3 files that I've done. A Nicholson, another Nicholson as far as I can remember, and then that Nicholson was snapped off there. That's my mini striker. As I said, I'm not going to be making any more file strikers there. And 2 forged file strikers, reforged and rehardened. And that's just a discussion piece on them. You could go your whole life just using one of these as your striker, and that's perfectly acceptable and perfectly fine. But I really think that adding a bit of antler or a nice piece of figured wood really makes them look a lot better. They're a lot more professional looking. Not that you want to be showing off or anything. It just I think it looks a lot nicer, and they feel really good in their hand. And you're building something, and which is always, as far as I can see, something that most of us like to do in this bushcrafting sort of thing. So yeah, that's why I advocate these sort of builds. And then onto the the forging. If you've got access to a forge, and you can just do it with a gas axe, honestly. You get an acetylene torch, you can get them up to temperature, and you just need a magnet just so you can go past critical temperature. Get them past critical temperature, normalise them out once or twice. So forge them up, get them into shape, then let them normalise, so get them up to critical temperature, set them aside, let them cool down naturally, then get them up to critical temperature, so that means that take them up past critical temperature so that they are non-magnetic, and then quench them in water. Just quench the strike face. Wait until all the colour basically bleeds out. Don't quench this part. Once it all bleeds out, then drop it all in, and hopefully you won't get any cracks. That normalisation I'm finding is probably what I wasn't doing, and that's why I was getting some cracks in some of them. So yeah, I'm going to be doing normalisation now. I think that's one of the things that I wasn't doing. So yeah, I'm now only going to be doing forged builds for my antler builds. I've got a couple more antlers, and as I said, I'm going to maybe do a couple of antler builds, non-forged antler builds, and see if I can sell them. I don't know. I might just see how I go. But anyway, I just wanted to show you just some of the file strikers that I've got in my collection, and the difference between non-forged straight files and forged file strikers, how they sparked. I hope you could see the differences. It's not a lot, and sitting here in daylight, you really can't see the difference too much. I can see a difference in it but I tend to be behind the camera, and I'm playing with them all the time, so I know how each strikes. So yeah, but these Nicholson files, I will admit, they spark very well even without forging. So the differences between the two is not that great, even between forged and non-forged. So yeah, it's more about being able to put curls on them and getting them into different shapes rather than just having them as straight files and whatnot. So yeah, anyway, hope this has been a bit of an interesting video and informative. These are easy builds. They're not hard to do. Takes about 45 minutes. Yeah, just cut the channel, grind the striker to shape. Make sure you clean the face up. Make sure it doesn't have any file teeth marks on it, because all that'll do is chip your flints or quartzite out. Yeah, and keep it cool. Make sure you keep it cool. Do not change because if you change the the hardness of this file, it's not going to spark properly. And yeah, quite an easy build to do. And get some glue and just run a bit of glue down in it. Once it's friction fitted in there, glue it in, and away you go. Anyway, that's my file striker collection, basically. Yeah, I just want, it's not necessarily a collection video, but a bit of a discussion and collection video. Thanks for watching.